Power, the key to leadership. No matter what one's leadership style, a key component of effective leadership is found in the power the leader has to affect other people's behavior and get them to act in certain ways. There are several types of power: legitimate, reward, coercive, expert, and referent power. Effective leaders take steps to ensure that they have sufficient levels of each type and that they use the power they have in beneficial ways. Legitimate power. Legitimate power is the authority a manager has by virtue of his or her position in an organization's hierarchy. Personal leadership style often influences how a manager exercises legitimate power. Take the case of Carol Lorray, who is a first-line manager in a greeting card company and leads a group of 15 artists and designers. Lorray has the legitimate power to hire new employees, assign projects to the artists and designers, monitor their work, and appraise their performance. She uses this power effectively. She always makes sure her project assignments match the interest of her subordinates as much as possible so they will enjoy their work. She monitors their work to make sure they are on track but does not engage in close supervision, which can hamper creativity. She makes sure her performance appraisals are developmental, providing concrete advice for areas where improvements could be made. Recently, Lorraine negotiated with her manager to increase her legitimate power so she can now initiate and develop proposals for new card lines. Reward power. Reward power is the ability of a manager to give or withhold tangible rewards, pay raises, bonuses, choice job assignments, and intangible rewards, verbal praise, a pat on the back, respect. As you learned in Chapter 9, members of an organization are motivated to perform at a high level by a variety of rewards. Being able to give or withhold rewards based on performance is a major source of power that allows managers to have a highly motivated workforce. Managers of salespeople in retail organizations like Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, and Macy's, and in car dealerships such as Mazda, Ford, and Volvo, often use their reward power to motivate their subordinates. Subordinates in organizations such as those often receive commissions on whatever they sell and rewards for the quality of their customer service, which motivate them to do the best they can. Effective managers use their reward power to show appreciation for subordinates' good work and efforts. Ineffective managers use rewards in a more controlling manner, wielding the stick instead of offering the carrot. That signals to subordinates that manager has the upper hand. Managers also can take steps to increase their reward power. Coercive power. Coercive power is the ability of a manager to punish others. Punishment can range from verbal reprimands to reductions in pay or working hours to actual dismissal. In the previous chapter, we discussed how punishments can have negative side effects such as resentment and retaliation and should be used only when necessary. For example, to curtail a dangerous behavior. Managers who rely heavily on coercive power tend to be ineffective as leaders and sometimes even get fired themselves. William J. Fife is one example. He was fired from his position as CEO of Giddings and Lewis Inc., a manufacturer of factory equipment, because of his over-reliance on coercive power. In meetings, Fife often verbally criticized, attacked, and embarrassed top managers. Realizing how destructive Fife's use of punishment for them was, the company, these managers complained to the board of directors who, after a careful consideration of the issues, asked Fife to resign. Excessive use of coercive power seldom produces high performance and is questionable ethically. Sometimes it amounts to a form of mental abuse, robbing workers of their dignity and causing excessive levels of stress. Overuse of coercive power can even result in dangerous working conditions. Better results, and importantly, an ethical workplace that respects employee dignity can be obtained by using reward power. Expert power. Expert power is based on the special knowledge, skills, and expertise that a leader possesses. The nature of expert power varies depending on the leader's level in the hierarchy. First level and middle managers often have technical expertise relevant to the tasks their subordinates perform. Their expert power gives them considerable influence over subordinates. Judy McGrath in the Management Snapshot has expert power from over 25 years' experience in the media industry, as well as from her efforts to stay attuned to pop culture through extensive networking, reading, and ever-ready openness for the new and the quirky. Some top managers derive expert power from their technical expertise. Craig Barrett, chairman of the board of directors of Intel from 2005 to 2009, has a PhD in material science from Stanford University, and is very knowledgeable about the ins and outs of Intel's business producing semiconductors and microprocessors. Bill Gates, chairman of Microsoft, and CEO Steve Ballmer have expertise in software design, and Tachi Yamada, president of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Global Health Program, has an MD and was previously chairman of research and development at GlaxoSmithKline. Many top-level managers, however, lack technical expertise and derive their expert powers from their abilities as decision-makers, planners, and strategists. Jack Welch, the former well-known leader and CEO of General Electric, summed it up this way: "The basic thing we at the top of the company know is that we don't know the business. What we have, I hope, is the ability to allocate resources, people, and dollars." Effective leaders take steps to ensure that they have an adequate amount of expert power to perform their leadership roles. They may obtain additional training or education in their fields, make sure they keep up with the latest developments and changes in technology, stay abreast of changes in their fields through involvement in professional associations, and read widely to be aware of momentous changes in the organization's tasks and general environments. Expert power tends to be best used in a guiding or coaching manner rather than an arrogant, high-handed manner. Referent power. Referent power is more informal than the other kinds of power. Referent power is a function of the personal characteristics of a leader. It is the power that comes from subordinates and co-workers' respect, admiration, and loyalty. Leaders who are likable and whom subordinates wish to use as a role model are especially likely to possess referent power, as is true of Judy McGrath and the Management Snapshot. In addition to being a valuable asset for top managers like McGrath, referent power can help first-line and middle managers be effective leaders as well. Sally Carruthers, for example, was the first-level manager of a group of secretaries in the finance department of a large state university. Carruthers' secretaries are known to be among the best in the university. Much of their willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty has been attributed to Carruthers' warm and caring nature, which makes each of them feel important and valued. Managers can take steps to increase their referent power, such as taking time to get to know their subordinates and showing interest in the concern for them. Empowerment, an ingredient in modern management. More and more managers today are incorporating into their personal leadership styles an aspect that at first glance seems to be opposite of being a leader. In Chapter 1, we described how empowerment, the process of giving employees at all levels the authority to make decisions, be responsible for their outcomes, improve quality, and cut costs, and becoming increasingly popular in organizations. When leaders empower their subordinates, the subordinates typically take over some responsibility and authority that used to reside with a leader or manager, such as the rights to reject parts that do not meet quality standards, the right to check one's own work, and the right to schedule work activities. Empowered subordinates are given the power to make some decisions that their leaders or supervisors used to make. Empowerment might seem to be the opposite of effective leadership because managers are allowing subordinates to take more active role in leading themselves. In actuality, however, empowerment can contribute to effective leadership for several reasons. Empowerment increases a manager's ability to get things done because the manager has the support and help of subordinates who may have special knowledge of work tasks. Empowerment often increases workers' involvement, motivation, and commitment, and this helps ensure that they are working towards organizational goals. Empowerment gives managers more time to concentrate on their pressing concerns because they spend less time on day-to-day supervision. Effective managers like Judy McGrath realize the benefits of empowerment. The personal leadership style of managers who empower subordinates often entails developing subordinates' ability to make good decisions, as well as being their guide, coach, and source of inspiration. Empowerment is a popular trend in the United States at companies diverse as United Parcel Service, a packaging delivery company, and Quorum Healthcare Corporation, a provider of medical equipment and services, and is part of servant leadership. Empowerment is also taking off around the world. For instance, companies in South Korea such as Samsung, Hyundai, and Daewoo, in which decision-making typically was centralized with the founding families, are now empowering managers at lower levels to make decisions.